This tragedy is one more in a recent series of recent accidents where someone is not wearing a seatbelt and lost their life.
Although seatbelt use across the nation is nearly 92%, it's that 8% who take an unnecessary risk. Our Lisa Adams is joining us tonight after checking in with PennDOT, Lisa, on seatbelt data. And they'd like to see, of course, 100% of drivers and passengers buckle up.
Yeah, good evening. Even Mike, they sure would, because the data is really telling. Last year, Pennsylvania saw 1,209 fatal accidents. In 316 of those, people were not wearing their seatbelts. It's a statistical low for PennDOT, but still they say it's 316 too many. Not buckling up has been making headlines, from Sunday's deadly accident where a young passenger was unbelted to 4 other unrestrained traffic deaths last weekend, including 3 young men in one car in Centerville. PennDOT officials say buckling up matters.
Well, we know that wearing a seatbelt is your #1 line of defense against death or serious injury if you are involved in a crash. And the national use rate in 2023 was 91.9%. So that leaves roughly 8% of motorists, across the country that are still not wearing a seatbelt.
And they want to change the behavior of that 8%.
Our goal is to get that usage rate all the way up to 100%, not only in Pennsylvania, but across the country, so that we're not seeing fatalities because people are being ejected from vehicles. And some people may think an airbag is enough to protect them in a crash, but that's actually not the case. Airbags are designed to work in tandem with your seatbelt, and airbags could actually do more harm if you're not wearing a seatbelt.
According to data from PennDOT, when you get in the car and buckle your seatbelt every time, you reduce the risk of losing your life in a traffic accident by about 60%. And as far as young people getting in the habit of buckling up, well, their parents are the best example.
Whatever example you're setting when you're driving is something that they're most likely going to follow. So make sure that you're aware of that. Make sure you're always wearing your seatbelt every single time you get behind the wheel. Your kids will notice that, and that's what their expectation will be when they start driving.
Of 1,209 fatal accidents in Pennsylvania last year, 316 people were unrestrained. PennDOT officials believe some of those fatalities could have been avoided if people were properly wearing a seatbelt. And now, after Sunday's tragic accident, it's not just the Fairview school community in mourning. Cadence, who are mourning Cadence Gano, the cakery where she worked, is mourning as well. That business was closed today. They have set up a GoFundMe page to help cover her funeral expenses. We checked in on this at 5. It had already raised $18,000. Now it is at $23,865. Live in the studio, Lisa Adams, Erie News Now.